I was invited to the Cape in 1990 by the Cape Estate wine producers, and they had come on a visiting trip in the late 80s through, and they had visited me at Simi. And so they went back, and at that time they were fairly unconnected with the world because of apartheid.
Apartheid, yeah.
And they were interested in getting some more technical input, so they invited me to come over and talk about the use of barrels in winemaking. And I thought, never been to Africa. And my fiance, now my husband Phil, came with me, and at that time he was the director of viticulture at Robert Mondavi. So when they heard that he was coming, then they, opened up and brought him over too, and we did a full day symposium for the industry. Then we did 3 half-day classes in different parts of the wine country, and people would bring their wines and we would taste and comment on them. So it was a very concentrated way to see South Africa.
Yeah.
Well, it is so extraordinary. It's just beautiful, a beautiful place. And it's very interesting from a winemaking perspective because the soils are totally different from ours. They're very old clay soils and old gravels and some old decomposed granite soils. And then the Cape sticks down into the Atlantic and the Indian Ocean, so it's like a triangle with Cape Town at the bottom of the triangle, and the oceans on each side. So you have a lot of ocean influence. We're only about 30 miles from the ocean, if that far. I think probably 20. But we get ocean influence from both.
From both sides?
Yeah. And the amazing thing about the soil is that in our vineyard we have Stone Age tools lying on the surface of our soils that have been identified as being 500,000 to 1.5 million years old.
Wow.
So I mean,
that's
it's like
old.
incredible. And then in '97, we were approached by someone that we had met who said, I found this 100-acre parcel, and it's pristine, it's never been in grapes. Would you be interested in investing in it, planting it, and making some wine?
Wow.
And Phil and I, we've both traveled to many different countries around the world because of my association with Simi, Mondavi, and LVMH, and his association with Mondavi. And we're sort of adventurous. We always said, wouldn't it be fun to make wine somewhere else?
Yeah, well, and starting with bakery from scratch at some level.
Well,
tradition.
That's what we really wanted to do. We didn't want to buy a vineyard. I mean, we wanted everything in this project to be something that we created using our experience. So we bought the property with a partner. Phil laid it out. He's the specialist in vineyards.
In the vineyard development, yeah.
And we decided what varieties we wanted to plant, which were 4 Bordeaux varietals. We thought that South Africa was doing a good job, could do a better job with them. And we thought that they were really suitable for our site. So he laid out the vineyard, laid out the spacing and location of everything, did the soil studies, and we planted in '98 and '99.
So
30 acres.
10, 11 years old.
30 acres. And we just planted another 7 acres 3 years ago. So
in the same, more of the same varietals, or you changed after?
No, well, our original planting was Merlot, Cabernet, Malbec, and a little bit of Cabernet Franc. And we were very taken with the Malbec. Because Merlot is, in the Bordeaux mix, Merlot is supposed to have this sort of very soft, rich character.
Yeah.
But a lot of Merlot is fairly structured. And our Merlot is very big. And the Malbec is very supple and fleshy.
So it does what Merlot does here.
It does what Merlot is supposed to do.
Yeah.
So we planted both more Merlot and more Malbec. So the Series M that we make is Merlot Malbec base with some Cabernet background.
Okay.
And the Series C that we make is Cabernet Franc blend with some Merlot background. Our vineyard, the sections are about 1 hectare, about 2.5 acres. And so we treat each one as a different persona, because when Phil laid out the vineyard, he tried to make the vineyard sections have similar soils to go along with the soil profile. And so my early goal was to figure out the personality of all these segments.
Mm-hmm.
And it was quite interesting because it seemed like there was two different styles coming out of that vineyard. There was some big, powerful, intense Cabernet, and there was some soft, fleshy Cabernet. Some big, powerful, intense Merlot, and some soft, fleshy Merlot.
Interesting. Now, was it different clones, or were they basically the same clones throughout all the vineyards?
With the Cabernet, it was the same clones. And with the Merlot, it was different clones.
Interesting.
But we definitely have two different wines in that vineyard, and we had originally planned to do the classic Bordeaux first wine, second wine, and I wasn't happy with that because I felt that site should produce all first wine. I didn't really see that there was any block that couldn't be.
It couldn't be used on the main blend.
Right. If we farmed it the right way and if we worked with it the right way, we could make a top wine. So I proposed making these two styles, one more structured and one more fleshy.